Afia, can you tell us what the latest on the hostages, that were released earlier on today is?
Well, very emotional scenes across Israel and across Gaza as well, as he had hostages released on both sides. So those were earlier pictures today of Israeli hostages being released. Now we have 20 Israeli living hostages have been released, reunited back with their families in scenes that played out all across Israel. They were broadcast all across the TV and on giant screens, especially in Hostage Square and across Israel where people could watch. The bodies of 5 hostages who unfortunately died in captivity have also been released to Israel today. There's about another 23 bodies due to be released, and that will happen later on this week. That is because Hamas do not know where all those hostages are, and much of Palestine has been destroyed. 78% of it is rubble, so trying to find those bodies is proving to be a task, but their remains will be reunited with their families. That's the hope. In Gaza, 1,900 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel have been released back to Gaza. Some of those were people that were taken captive after October 7th as well. They have also been reunited with their families in similarly emotional scenes across the enclave, where people finally, like I said, reunited with their families, cheers of families, of friends, as those detainees, those prisoners, those captives were released back to Gaza as well. Earlier on today, also, we have President Trump. He addressed the Israeli parliament for about an hour. He was given pretty much a hero's welcome into that parliament. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech as well, which he said that President Trump was the best friend that Israel had ever had. Trump went on to say, "You're not at war anymore, Bibi," referring to Benjamin Netanyahu, saying never forget and never again, like you heard earlier on when he was talking about the October 7th attacks. He talks about the phone call he'd had with Prime Minister Netanyahu to ask him for more weapons so that Israel can become more strong and powerful, and that's what led to peace. Trump saying that Israel won all they can. Some of the longest applause in the Israeli parliament came when he said that Hamas would be disarmed, and he also asked Israel's president to pardon Prime Minister Netanyahu for any future corruption prosecutions. We don't know what effect that may have. But President Trump talking for over an hour to that parliament, like I said, given a hero's welcome and pretty much given the run of what he wanted to say. He gave shout outs to his team, Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner as well, who he brought with him. Before then, he left to the peace summit in Sharm el-Sheikh almost 2 hours late, but he has arrived on the ground there.
Now, speaking of the peace summit, what can we expect to hear there today?
Well, already we've seen Trump with the Egyptian president. They have been doing the obligatory welcome with the delegation. Another 20 world leaders, including UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, is in attendance at that summit. Notably, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Iranian Prime Minister also will not be in attendance to this particular meeting. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas will be in attendance. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the Spanish Prime Minister, will be there as well. The Iranian leader said that he will not be in attendance because he doesn't feel that it would be appropriate for him to be in attendance at this moment. Prime Minister Netanyahu saying that he won't be in attendance because it's close to a Jewish holiday. But whilst President Trump was doing his welcoming remarks with the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sissi, he said that he would welcome Iran to the table. He also said that when he was at the Israeli parliament earlier on, that Iran would be welcome to the table, implying that Iran and other nations around the Gulf do want peace.
So after that, now what happens next in Gaza, Afia?
And that's a really big question. This is phase one of the ceasefire. Donald Trump would like to insist that we're in phase two, but phase one of the ceasefire was the release of the hostages. That was really key, that would happen. And we have got the 20 living hostages released on the Israeli side. We have got the Palestinian hostages, captives and prisoners released on the other side as well. We don't have all the bodies of those who passed away in captivity yet, and that's going to be a sticking point until that happens. We've never got past phase one of the ceasefire. Either side has broken it after hostages have been released. Now, if you have all hostages being released on both sides, and neither side really has any skin in the game, they don't have any cards left to play. So does the fighting continue, or do we see this as a real opportunity for peace? Maybe that is what will come out of this peace summit that is taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh today. Perhaps that is the building blocks of a lasting peace in the region. I don't think we can really say that peace has come to the Gulf region, that war is over. There's always going to be tensions and proxies of either sides doing their bidding. But I think we can safely say that stage one is nearly over in this part of the ceasefire. But stage two and stage three, which will take us to a complete downing of arms, is also incredibly important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Afua, for your update and the take.